Okay, here's some resin growing on a pine tree. I'm going to take a stick and shove it in there. And you see it shoves in there because it's soft. And I can just kind of pry that off. See that? See, that's pine resin in there. That's pine resin. It's kind of soft and squishy. We're going to refine that. Alright, here's some more nice goopy, weepy pine bark, and I poke the stick into it here. And you can see the stick kind of goes in. You see it? It'll scoop it up there. Boop. See right there, that soft stuff is pine resin. We've got some more down here as well. This is pretty well caked onto the bark, but you cook it up and it'll cook it off the bark. So we're gonna just harvest that up. Just scrape it off the tree. See? There. And it's nice and soft and squishy and sticky. Alright, here's some. And you see this looks like amber almost. If I just pull on that, I can feel it give a little bit. Let me get my stick. Ah. All right. There and pry at it a little bit. Oops, that's stuck on there pretty good. There we go. There. Came loose. You can pry that off. That's bark underneath. But here you can see this is resin. If you give that a smell, it'll smell very much like turpentine. And here's another chunk that I pulled off. See if you can focus on it. And it was just right here, and it was just popped right off because it's pine bark, so it's got layers. So if I take it and I break it, it's very brittle because it's very dried. It's dried resin, but that's not bark, that's resin. See that? And you can see that amber color in there. And that's resin. So I've got a couple of cans here and the bag of rosin that I collected in, I don't know, maybe 30 minutes or so, just from the pine trees on the street. I got one can. I have holes punched in the bottom with a screwdriver. The other can, this was chicken actually. This I think was beans. Anyway, it fits inside, plenty of room around. We're going to put the raw resin into the can, and once the fire is going, we will just kind of let it cook down, and all the barking bits will stay in this can, and then clear rosin will come out, or resin will come out into the bottom can. Okay, so we've just put the can apparatus on the fire, and now we'll just give it some time. Well, it's been 5 minutes or so. You can see that the level has gone down as I'm poking the stuff down. I can definitely feel it softening as I'm poking it, and I can sure feel the heat coming off of the coals. Not a whole lot of action down in here yet, but that will come. That will come. Well, time and heat do wonderful things. It's been another few minutes. You can see that the level has gone down quite a bit. This can was full when we started, but as the resin chunks are melting, of course, all that it compresses and all the, the air comes out. And you can see it's starting to get kind of goopy. And here's the exciting thing. Let me grab my channel locks and lift the inner can out, and you can see down in there, see the resin that is dripping out of the can. So there's some resin in there that's coming out through the holes in the bottom of that can. Pretty neat. Well, the level's gone down enough that I'm taking the last of those pieces and putting them in there. And look at this when I broke this in half. Look at that crystal clear resin. And that looks like amber. Of course, it wouldn't be amber for another million years or several. So I'm just going to go ahead and put that in the can. It is really starting to smell like Christmas with the pine resin. And if you look down in there, you can definitely see that we've got a fair amount of liquid down in the bottom can. So we're just cooking away here. See that resin bubbling away down there? It's about a 1/4 inch deep, I think, at this point. Okay, now you can see the rosin in the inner can is bubbling away and is actually kind of getting close to its smoke point. Now, it is at its smoke point. It's getting very, very hot, so we might want to move that off to a slightly cooler part of the fire. But you can see it's really cooking away there. Well, we may be reaching the point of diminishing returns. This has gone pretty far down, and as I poke in there, it just kind of feels very, very sludgy. I can see some liquid rosin still bubbling away. So I may give that a few more minutes here. Let me grab my channel locks. I'm going to move this inner can off to the side. And you can see here the outer can has got a fair amount of liquid rosin in there. It looks like really dark coffee. It's like espresso, Turkish coffee. But you can see that's all been pulled out of this can here. So I'm going to let that go probably just another few minutes just to see if I can get just a little bit more. But we're pretty well done. Okay, it's been about another 5 minutes. Let's see what we have. Oh my, look at that. That is really bubbling away in there. I think got a pretty good amount of liquid resin yet that I think we can cook out. So I think we're going to let it go a little bit longer. Okay, I think we are done here. I'm going to let that drain. Just a few drips and drops out. But you see what's in there is really just junk, just bark. So set this off to the side. But now look what we have here. Isn't that beautiful? Look at all that lovely, lovely clear resin. Now it's really, really hot, so it's smoking. So we'll set this off to the side too and let it cool down. And we are done with the grill for the night. Thank you very much. Okay, so I've got this tin foil pan here that I'm going to pour the hot resin into. And it's already starting to thicken up a little bit. I'm just going to pour that out. This thing's on a bit of a tilt here. So you can see it's A little sludgy there at the end. That's okay. It's sort of decanting out the thicker stuff, and then I'll just spin it around and let it slide on down to the other side. And that'll help cool it off. And when I go to, when it's cool, I can just peel the foil off, and then it'll be in a thin sheet. And then when I go to remelt it to make shoemaker's wax, then I will, it'll be easier to melt because it'll be in thin sheets. Alright, well, here we are in the morning. And as you can see, it's dried. I'll peel the foil off of it. And so here's the resin we processed. Nice. And so here it is out of the foil. Nice, very crisp. Almost sounds like glass. Dropped some and it shattered, so I'm not going to worry about that. But yeah, this is very nice, very smooth, slightly sticky. Yeah, this will be nice. So this is the resin that we processed.